Codependency. It's a term that we've heard in pop psychology for the last few decades. It grew out of the recovery movement as a term for someone who is in relationship with an individual who has a problem of addiction or dependence on a substance like alcohol. The codependent was a person who enabled the dependent individual or the addict by lying for them, covering for them, taking responsibility for bailing them out of jail or lying to the boss, different things like that. Over time, it's broadened in its usage to include people who are in relationships with others in which they simply give too much. Their well being is wrapped up too heavily in the person that they're in relationship with, and it causes problems. I tend to think that at the heart of codependency is a willingness to surrender my priorities, my needs, my perspectives, and especially to violate my conscience or surrender my soul for the sake of maintaining relationship with another person. This turns out to be very problematic because at the heart of every healthy relationship is authenticity and full buy-in, that both people can be who they are and navigate the differences in a way that honors both people, where there's a real give and take in the relationship. And in the idea of codependency, there's more giving by one person and more taking by the other one. In spiritual terms, we might think of codependency as relational idolatry. What do I mean by that? Well, I believe that God intends or desires to be the keepers of our hearts. He wants to be our source of well-being, our sense of worth and security, our happiness, our peace, and our joy. He wants to be the keeper of our hearts, to have the key to our hearts, that we look to Him for those vital necessities emotionally and spiritually. When we give that key to someone else, we are likely engaging in relational idolatry, where we're letting someone else be in that place of God, where we're looking to them to give us soul satisfaction, to give us a sense of value or worth, well-being, or peace. When we do that, then we are apt to surrender things that we should not surrender, to do things that might be a violation of our conscience simply to maintain the harmony or the integrity of that relationship, which may need, in some cases, to end. I sometimes will say to people, if you can't risk it, the relationship, you can't write it. If you can't risk it, you can't write it. So that if someone realizes that you are not going to exit the relationship no matter what, it gives them, in a sense, a pass to continue doing that thing that they're doing that is problematic. When they sense that you're willing to abandon the relationship if need be, then that creates a necessity for transformation. And so many things that we need to surrender in our lives, we will only do so if we really have to. The old saying is, you can't have your cake and eat it too. In other words, you can't keep your birthday cake intact and still eat it. But a lot of us would love that option to have our cake and eat it too. And if you're in a relationship with someone who is codependent, often they'll let you do things your way, even though they cause damage to the other person. So if you find yourself expecting someone else to be your source of value or worth or well-being, be careful. You may be letting them step into a place where God longs to reign, where He wants to be the primary focus and your ultimate source. So God bless you today in all of your relationships. Be all in, be authentic, and be willing to let God be number one. Jesus says, unless you hate your father, mother, sister, brother, son, daughter, husband, wife, or even your own life, you can't be my disciple. In some ways, we need to care less about others in relationship to God so that we can love Him well and as a consequence, love others well too. God bless you. I love you.